It's a strange kind of pain when the person you trust most decides that money is worth more than your friendship. I thought my best friend was someone who would stand by me through thick and thin, but greed has a way of revealing true colors. What started as small cracks in our friendship turned into a devastating betrayal that nearly destroyed me. But here's the part he never saw coming. The truth always finds its way out, and in the end, his greed left him with nothing. I used to believe that my best friend and I were inseparable, almost like brothers bound not by blood but by choice. We had been through everything together, late-night study sessions before exams, long talks about our dreams, and countless moments when we had nothing but each other to lean on. He was there when my family went through hard times, and I was there when he faced heartbreak after heartbreak. To everyone around us, we were the kind of friends people envied, loyal, solid, and unshakable. We celebrated each other's wins and supported each other's failures. Or at least, that's what I thought. There were nights when we'd sit under the stars, laughing about the future, promising that no matter what life threw at us, we'd have each other's backs. I never doubted his intentions, because he had always shown up when it mattered most. Still, looking back now, there were subtle hints I chose to ignore. The way his smile would falter whenever I shared good news. The quick questions about how much I was earning after my first promotion. The offhand jokes about me being the lucky one. At the time, I brushed it all off as harmless teasing, never once considering that behind those words was envy slowly growing into something darker. I trusted him with everything I had, blind to the possibility that the person closest to me might someday value money more than our bond. Everything between us shifted the moment money entered the picture. It wasn't a lottery win or some overnight fortune, but it was significant enough to change how people looked at me. I had just received a sizable promotion at work, one that came with not only a higher salary but also a large bonus. I was proud of myself. I had worked late nights, sacrificed weekends, and fought for opportunities most people never even got close to. Naturally, I shared the news with my best friend, expecting him to be happy for me like he always had been. At first, he congratulated me, but there was something different in his eyes, a flicker of envy that he tried to mask with a grin. Soon after, he began asking little questions. How much was my new paycheck, what I planned to do with the bonus, whether I had considered investing with him in some vague idea he couldn't clearly explain. His excitement felt less like genuine happiness and more like calculation. He started dropping hints about needing extra cash, calling it just a loan between friends that he promised to pay back quickly. When I hesitated, he acted hurt, reminding me of all the times he had been there for me. His words carried guilt more than gratitude, and I felt uneasy. It was the first time I noticed a crack in the friendship, like the money had become a wedge between us, turning loyalty into opportunity. The real betrayal didn't come all at once, it crept in slowly, like shadows stretching longer as the sun goes down. At first, it was small lies. He told me he needed money to cover rent, but later I found out he had blown it on a night out. Then, there were rumors floating back to me from mutual friends, things he had said about me, twisting my success into arrogance, painting me as someone who thought he was better than everyone else. It was like he was building a version of me that didn't exist, all to justify the resentment he carried. The breaking point came when I discovered he had accessed some of my personal documents, trying to meddle in a business opportunity one had been working on. I felt gutted. This was the person I trusted more than anyone, and he had gone behind my back, attempting to take what I had earned for himself. When I confronted him, instead of apologizing, he lashed out, accusing me of being selfish, of not sharing my good fortune with him. My chest tightened with a mix of heartbreak and confusion. I kept asking myself, how did we get here? How did years of laughter, secrets, and loyalty come to this moment of anger and betrayal? Friends around us started pulling away, whispering that something wasn't right between us. And they were correct, because in that moment, staring at him, I realized our friendship wasn't broken. It was gone. The truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how deeply someone tries to bury it. After the confrontation, I decided I couldn't just rely on rumors or my own suspicions, I needed proof. I began quietly gathering pieces of evidence, keeping records of the lies, the money he had taken, and even the documents he tried to tamper with. It didn't take long before a clear pattern emerged. Every step of his betrayal was fueled by greed. What I hadn't expected was how quickly others began noticing too. A colleague reached out, telling me that my friend had tried to pitch one of my business ideas as his own. Another mutual acquaintance revealed he had been spreading stories about me, twisting my success into something ugly. Piece by piece, his mask slipped away until there was nothing left to hide behind. The final blow came when the truth spilled out in front of others. He was exposed for the liar he was. Watching the shock on people's faces as the evidence stacked against him, I felt a strange sense of calm. I didn't need to raise my voice or fight anymore. The facts spoke louder than any defense he tried to make. For the first time since this nightmare began, I felt control returning to me. He had gambled everything on deception, and now he stood cornered, with nowhere to run. The satisfaction wasn't in revenge, it was in justice finally catching up to him. Once the truth came out, everything unraveled for him faster than I ever imagined. The people he had tried to impress with his lies began distancing themselves immediately. His reputation, once tied to mine, was shattered. Word spread quickly about the stolen money, the betrayal. The desperate attempts to take credit for things he didn't earn. The company he had been working at didn't take long to act. Within weeks, he lost his job. Without income, the friendships he'd used for convenience dried up too. Even the people who once laughed at his jokes stopped answering his calls. I watched all of this unfold with a strange mixture of sadness and grim understanding. Greed had consumed him, and in the end, it left him with nothing but the pieces of a life he had ruined himself. He could have shared in my success, celebrated alongside me as he always had, but instead he chose envy over loyalty, and lies over honesty. The lesson was clear and harsh: betrayal never wins. No matter how clever someone thinks they are, the truth has a way of stripping everything bare. My friend thought money was worth more than trust, but when the dust settled, he had neither. His pockets were empty, his circle gone, and his pride in ruins. And me? I learned that sometimes losing someone is the only way to truly win, because I walked away stronger, while he was left standing in the wreckage of his own choices. Betrayal may cut deep, but it never goes unpunished for long. What my best friend thought would make him rich ended up costing him everything: his trust, his dignity, and even his future. As for me, I walked away wiser, stronger, and free of someone who never truly valued me. Money can buy comfort, but it can never buy loyalty or respect. In the end, his pockets were empty, and so was his life. Sometimes, losing a friend is the best kind of gain.